I'm trying to turn off my Discord notifications.
Yeah, I've just done that myself.
I was like, you can hear them all pinging in the background. Okay, we're done. I think they're off. I think hopefully, hopefully you guys won't be able to hear anything. But thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for coming to watch. SC, you are in here. I think the Gamers Twitch still says D&D, so we can get that updated real quick. That would be great. Otherwise, no worries. Are you reconnected again? Did you get? Oh, I see you. Hold on, let me bring you back up. Invite to speak. Oh my gosh, perfect. Okay. How are you guys? Are we all ready? And like I
Yeah.
said, we are streaming live currently on Twitch, on our platform, and on Discord. So I'm going to be keeping, if you guys see me toggling back and forth, I'm keeping an eye on all of our different chats. So as we talk and as people kind of have questions, I can make sure everyone's voices get heard, which is always super fun. But without further ado, I would love to get started. So thank you so much for doing Coffee Talk. For those of you that are new here, Coffee Talk is a segment that we do once a month, highlighting different areas around the gaming industry, just kind of providing new information, new insights, because the gaming industry is constantly changing and evolving, and we want to make sure everyone gets a chance to kind of show what they do and showcase and highlight. And you never know, that could provide help for people who want to be in the industry or just grow or maybe move to even a different section of the industry. So I'm very excited to announce that this month's Coffee Talk is centered around college and collegiate themed, whether that's collegiate esports, collegiate gaming, just all things being a student and a gamer. And to go along with this wonderful theme, we have two lovely student guest speakers here. So I'm going to pass the mic over to both of you. Could you kind of introduce yourselves, give a little bit of a background, what school you go to, what your major is, and yeah, just some games that you like to play.
I can go. Hi, I'm Adeline. I also go as Beige Hamster. I am the community director of Loyola New Orleans. I am currently a senior film student, getting also a minor in environmental science as well. And when I am able to game in my very little free time, I'm usually hopping on either Minecraft or if I need to get some rage out, I'm probably playing CS2.
Yeah. It's my turn to go. Apologies if you because you can't see me. It says I can't stream video on in this channel. Somehow. But hello. My name
Okay.
is Paige, but most people I go by Marzi Estrella or Marzpan Estrella, but Marzi is perfectly fine. I am a currently a student at the University for Creative Arts, and I am a film and I major in film and screen studies. No minors for where we are because I don't know because we don't have that here.
No worries. I'm actually glad that I have both of you guys here talking with me, because I also wanted to kind of dive into a little bit of the difference in gaming and student life in different countries. Because as you've said, you are based in the UK, where both me and Addie are based in the US. So I would love to kind of compare and see the differences and how just esports and gaming in general has influenced kind of the student and school view in different areas. I know for me that is a very interesting thing. Um, Tig put a comment that says you Brits and your functional education system. That made me giggle. That was funny.
Sorry.
um, Marzi, could you talk a little bit about kind of more of like gaming in the UK and how esports has either impacted or not so impacted just student and school life in the UK and what that's like on your school system?
Um, for from my personal experience, in the UK, of course, esports is very still a prevalent thing because I know that some tournaments are being held here, and we do have our like there's a student board for um esports here, which but it's not but it's called it's called the National Student Esports, so pretty on the nose. And
Interesting.
of
Um, oh no, please continue.
um, and of course, gaming is very much a big thing at my university because, um, like I said, it's called the University for the Creative Arts. So that is in so that specializes in all sorts of creative like mediums like film, television, and even games because there's a lot of game courses in our university. For example, my younger brother, who's also at university, is a game design major himself.
That's so cool, and I'm really happy that he has the opportunity to kind of start studying that. I mean, I know when I was back in college and kind of getting started in the like esports, the collegiate esports space, a lot of schools like barely even offered kind of entertainment focused classes, let alone just like straight up gaming or even game design classes. So that really warms my heart to see that he has the opportunity to kind of start following what he wants to do.
Yes,
Just
it
from
is.
the college age have those resources. So I'm very excited to hear that. And
Hmm.
then I know Addie, you said that you played a little bit of CS:GO. Do you play that on like a competitive level, or is that more just kind of like on the side for fun?
Oh, I used to do a lot more in high school when I had the time. Um, I I played CS:GO mostly, and then especially during COVID, like that's all you could really do during that was play video games. Um, and then once I got to college, I kind of took a step back. Even once I joined the esports program at Loyola. Um, and then they moved it to CS2. But I never played at at a competitive level. Our head coach here at Loyola is a former CS:GO pro though. So I've played a little bit with him, and I'm not that bad. When they still had a ranking system before they put it behind a paywall. Um, I was ranked pretty high. We recently just had a charity live stream event, and me and my boss were talking about that. He was just like, "What level were you before you stopped playing?" And I was just like, "I don't know. I remembered that it was a pretty badge." And then when we were looking at it, he's just like, "Well, you could have gone pro with that ranking." And I was just like, "Well, I didn't know that." But, no, I never went competitive. I've thought about it though, since then, since I've been getting back into it, but I think I'll leave the, competition to the to my students.
That's really interesting. I mean, you it's really interesting that you brought this up because I was gonna go into like the different programs that your like schools offer and maybe the different gaming programs that you're like a part of, and also talk a little bit about what resources were like offered to your like to the students to help. And hearing that you have a pro player as like a teacher and a coach, I feel like that just puts you ahead of the game. That's crazy.
Yeah, we've been very, lucky. I don't know about your program, Marzi, but so the one at Loyola, we just started, I was I joined the first year that the program was founded. So we've only been around for about 4 years now. Um, very new, still on its legs and still growing. Our Discord has over 600 members, which we're very proud of. And we also have a very large community base here on campus as well. But it's definitely a plus that our head coach is a former pro. former CS:GO pro, and then he was also an Overwatch pro for a while as well. So we're extremely lucky to have someone with his knowledge, with his experience too. Um, our Overwatch team won the championships, which is the US's nationals. Like it's the equivalent of, I would say, Division 1 sports. So we won last semester, which was amazing. Um, so it's very much, we're taking it day by day because you'll win one championship and then, we're such a large, but we're such a small program that, one student isn't able to make rank anymore because of a GPA, then we no longer have a team. So it's very much, it comes and goes. We have now mandatory study hall hours for students whose GPAs drop below a certain percentage, because at Loyola, at least, they are student athletes. They are on athletic scholarships, just like someone playing basketball or baseball or football. So we have to keep very close attention to stuff like grades, stuff like how they're doing academically before we can really focus on the athletics section of it. We can't have a team without players.
Makes sense. I mean, that's I'm glad that you kind of also brought up the point about how your students are also treated as athletes. Because I think that was something that's extremely important. I know that I had a lot of like I guess not issues, but there was just a lot of controversy surrounding that when I was in school, and whether or not students in gaming should be treated like another athletic program or like esports programs or even just gaming programs in general. Um, but I mean, I feel like also there's pros and cons to having such a small team to be able to like really kind of build connections and get closer. But like you said, if a student ends up like dropping, it's kind of hard to find replacements. But I love that you guys have the opportunity to help students with study hall and provide all of those different outlets for them to kind of continue to focus on their studies as well as gaming. I also wanted to throw to Marzi a little bit to see if I know you said that, or I know that you mentioned that there's a few esports kind of program on your university campus, and I would love to kind
Mhm.
of hear more about that, just from a European like esports centered standpoint.
Yeah. Last year I actually was part of one of the teams, but as like a standby for just in case any of the main players dropped out. I was part of my campus's Overwatch um esports team, and and it well, our university, our esports society is mainly run by students themselves. Of course, being overlooked by the university itself, because health and safety stuff and all that. Um, but yeah, it's for our ones. We do There are like pro tournaments and um, of course, run by the National Student Esports, and but mostly when it comes to esports for here, it is treated with respect, but we it's also treated like a, also as a way for students to connect and build team working skills.
Having those connection points, I think, honestly, in my opinion, are probably some of the most important aspects of not just like esports, but honestly, any kind of sports team, especially in a college setting. Like students are coming from all over the country, all over the world, leaving home for many of them, it's like the first time. And I knew like at least in my experience, if I didn't have that like esports community to kind of go into, they're kind of like my found family when I was in school, and I don't know like where I would be now if I didn't kind of find that program and kind of go into that. So I'm happy that you mentioned the connecting points, because I do think that's really important, especially for like young students who are trying to transition into the adult world. Because I don't know about any of you guys watching, but it is hard to make connections out in the real world, like between work and just personal stuff. Like it's hard to just go out and meet people, and I kind of not I didn't take for granted, but sometimes I do miss the opportunities that like a lot of
Mhm.
university students have. Um, I don't know about you guys, but just like those connections, I think are very important.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, yeah, that is a big part of the the game, like any of the gaming related events we do at our university.
Like taking
As well, I'm not well, my part in the esports side is as not as big. My main focus is more of the social gaming events, such as um like an often running games night that we hold at our on for at nights for students just to come in, hang out, and um talk to each other. And the thing is with gaming at university, it's an easy way to connect with people, but not feeling like you're under pressure to for certain things, such as in speaking like a lot about yourself in one go.
Yeah. I also wanted to bring up Tig put in one of the chats a question for you guys. They said that my question to you is, have you guys ever experienced discrimination of bullying within these spaces, and how do you handle it? Which is a really great question, especially in such like a small community.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That is yeah, I have. I've been targeted myself actually. In There was a Instagram account that was made um my sophomore junior year, and they were someone posted a comment about like gaming and like the esports team as a whole, and we thought it was really funny because they called us annoying, and it's not lost in us that our facility is literally in the basement of our campus building. We're well aware of the stereotypes that surround gaming and how much we're feeding into them just within our placement within the school. But we had someone then go again and post calling out not only myself but other members of the esports program with some quite mean and derogatory words. Um, so it's something that I've experienced personally before. Um, I think social media is usually the main source of any sort of issues that we've had in the past when it comes to bullying and when it comes to kind of uh keeping us separated, I guess. We don't encounter that many people, I would say, in person. I personally have never encountered anyone who has come into our facility and told us off because we're esports or anything. It's usually online, but that's not to say that it doesn't exist. Um, I think it's honestly a pro of a reason being so out of the way. But there definitely is still that you know, jock versus geek kind of aspect of it, especially at my university, just because gaming isn't exactly, we're an arts college, but we're not a this isn't the type of vibe that I would say the majority of the student body goes for. We're mostly music. We have a really large music production program, but we're also a very large law school, and we've got a strong STEM program as well. So we don't exactly fit into the niche of, I would say, the majority of the student body. So it is something that at least we encounter.
I'm sorry to hear that you've gone through that and actually like have to encounter that, and it kind of like it's unfortunate, but it also kind of hurts that esports and like just gaming in general has been around for so long, yet you're still kind of facing these issues and all of that drama, which is totally not okay. And I kind of want
Yeah.
to feed off of that
Mm.
with like my next question also for both of you. is like, can you go a little bit more off if that bullying was more so centered just for the fact that you were a student gamer or you're part of esports, or was it also because you're a female in that space?
Ooh. Um,
Sorry, I
I've
didn't mean to like hard questions, but
Um, the one social media post that I can really think about, it's mostly we get comments about just about gamers being annoying and stuff, and the esports program being annoying. And of course, esports isn't real sports. They're not real student athletes, even though my students get the same scholarships that these other people do. Um, I have though encountered a lot of issues being femme presenting in esports because I myself am trans, I'm gender fluid, and it's I've had issues not only within collegiate esports but also just with esports as a whole, going into different events and being the only person who is femme presenting, especially in, we're in Louisiana, we're in a southern state, and I'm sure if people are aware of current United States politics, it's a hard time, and especially in such a male dominated field such as gaming. You're gonna go into a tournament and you're going to be the only woman there. And it's definitely, I get very protective of my student athletes who are female or who identify as female as well when I go with them into these spaces, because whatever alertness that I already have for my own self is immediately dialed up for them as well. Where I just have to be like, okay, not only are we in this space that we don't know yet if it's going to be inviting to us or not, but I'm not only taking care of myself, I'm taking care of my people as well.
that's really admirable on your part, and I'm very happy that
Yeah.
your students have such like a strong pillar to kind of look up to, but also not just for guidance, but also for protection. And I'm really sorry that you have faced a lot of those issues within not just collegiate esports, but just in esports in general. I mean, that's part of the reason why the gamers were here and why we were created to try to kind of fix people's mindset and just help
Mm.
people be more open minded. And that's something that we hopefully can strive for. And eventually you won't have to have these issues in the future. Like, hopeful we hope for the best that you never have to kind of like go through the stuff that you've gone through before in the past.
Mm.
I also wanted to add in quickly before I jump to Marzi. Pink Brit uh, put in our Twitch chat. I work with kids in esports, and that's something that they have to tell their parents constantly as well. So just know that you're not alone out there. But sorry, I do
Mm.
not mean to keep jumping or cutting you off. I'm gonna jump to you, Marzi.
Yeah, when it comes to bullying and discrimination, like for like my campus, um, there's actually not really much here on luckily, um, because because I've been talking with a lot of other students, because it's like it's nice to talk about gaming in such a positive way and no one's judging you for it. And I remember someone telling me, "We're all nerds. We're all nerds. We get it." Yeah, and I definitely know if someone tries to like discriminate like anyone in person or online. I definitely know because our university has a very strong student body, and I definitely know that if that does happen, they're gonna go into the full mode of you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us.
I love that. That makes me really happy to hear that. I know, well, I don't know. I wasn't really sure about the kind of like if there was any disconnect between how like UK handles esports and this sort of thing. Because I know in the US it's kind of just like the way femme presenting people and just femme identifying individuals are treated in the
Mm.
US is may not be the same around the rest of the world. So it really makes me happy to hear that you haven't really faced these issues, that everyone seems to come to protect each other and be there
Of
for each other within
of
that
course.
space. So I'm very happy.
Well, Yeah, well, esports is still very much male dominated. Well, luckily, like in like the areas I've been hanging around in, there's no one is excluded. Everyone's included, and and any sort of like rude or nasty behavior will not be tolerated.
It's amazing. Tig also dropped in the chat, what part of UK are you from?
I'm from a southern part of the UK, so like southern part of England, so that where my campus is located is a bit of a higher end town, but since but that but it's but the campus is mainly where students are like located. We're from around different parts of the world, but um again our areas vary, more um more high end, I would say, because oh, sorry. My brain is not
Oh,
computing a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah,
that's okay. Um, Tig said that they could tell from your accent, but they weren't sure, which is
fair
very
enough.
impressive that you were able to tell.
Yeah, very impressive.
Yeah, I know. I was shocked. Oh, they said that their
Yeah,
therapist is from the West End. Oh my god, that is so cool.
wow. Yeah,
Um,
yeah, and I think
opposite Pearson as well.
it's very obvious I have a very heavy London accent.
I love it. I think it's adorable. I enjoy hearing you talk.
Oh, thank you. I was borderline Cockney. Yeah, that's because my mum, who is also a gamer, that she was actually one of the people who introduced me to gaming. The second one being my dad, who are both amazing people. Um, and my mum, she's one of the she she got me into Pokemon, and I got her into Animal Crossing and Dead by Daylight.
I love that trade-off.
Yeah, yeah, my mum very much has a heavy Cockney accent, but it definitely, when I always hear it, I just think of my mum, and I just smile every time. And
Oh, that's
she's
so
probably watching the
wholesome.
stream.
I love that.
Yeah, she's probably watching the stream at the moment with my dad. So hi guys.
Hello. That's so cute. That makes me so happy. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. I didn't even know that they introduced you to the gamers. That's or your mother did. That's incredible.
No, not the
That
game,
genuinely makes me
not
so,
the
so
well,
happy.
actually not the game hers, just gaming in general. That's what I meant. I'm very sorry. It just came in my mind, and I just
No, no, no. That's totally okay. But just gaming in general. It was my dad that actually introduced me to gaming. So hearing that your mom was one that
oh.
introduced you to gaming, that still makes me beyond
It's
happy.
both. It was a mixture of my mum and my dad who introduced me to gaming. Yeah, they
That's
passed
so
on their love
wholesome.
of
I love
gaming
that.
to me and my brother.
Aww. That makes me happy. I love hearing people who like found gaming from kind of a good start point and just kind of took it as instead of like a fun hobby as more of a passion that kind of grew with
Yeah,
them. Take put in the
yeah,
family that games together. I
yes,
think
exactly.
is very funny.
My, I think my, I think my parents have really enjoyed our Jackbox sessions, which I think we need to start again at one point.
Oh my gosh, that's so fun. Also, sorry, there's a police officer driving by. If you guys heard that,
It's
didn't
don't
mean
worry, it's
for
fine.
that to be that
I was more
loud.
worried about my end because I live on campus, so I was worried if there was going to be any rowdy students just like yelling and stuff, because sometimes that happens.
Rowdy students. That made me giggle. So sorry, I kind of got us off on a tangent there.
No,
My
it's
apologies.
okay.
But speaking of students, or just students in general, see how I'm like kind of shifting. That was such a bad shift. I apologize. But
It's
I would
okay.
love to
It's okay.
hear. Also, someone just put in the Twitch chat, is that a dinosaur? Or an iguana? It kind of looks some kind of reptile with its mouth like wide open, like screaming like this.
Mhm.
Oh, I
And
think that's one of the Twitch emotes.
That's very funny. I didn't even know that was an emote. I don't know what reptile. Oh, it's a snake. I'm so sorry.
Ah.
Adeline is Poggers from the Lulu Meister.
That's my boss.
Oh, that's lovely.
That's so wholesome. That also took me up. That's very funny. Hello, boss man.
Hello.
We had a really good chat earlier. Oh my gosh, that kind of takes me out. Do you feel pressure now that your boss is in the chat?
No.
Okay, good,
No.
good, good. It's like, oh no, are we putting you on the spot right now?
Yeah.
Heck
Kind
no.
of
That's
similar.
funny.
Yeah, kind of similar. My parents thought if they were in the chat somehow that I would be put under more pressure, and I was like, no, can you guys come in? I really need some comfort because I was very nervous before I joined in.
Oh, don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. We're all friends
I
here.
know.
This is such like a safe
Yeah, I know.
space.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what
Also,
severe anxiety does to you.
no, I completely understand that. Do not worry. Adeline, your boss also said that Adeline looks down on me if anything, which I think this is very funny. JK, they're amazing and they've done a lot of great work. Which I am literally, from what I've heard about everything that you've done so far, you seem like an upstanding citizen.
Thank
So
you.
Yes,
your boss,
absolutely. I
Thank you.
agree.
give her throwing that in there. Little promotions on the table. I'm just saying. My eyes are on you. I'm watching you, the Lulu Meister. um,
Oh,
so I did not mean to get us
Siren,
off on that tangent again. My
it's
apologies,
okay.
but I kind of wanted to take us into a little bit of direction of balancing because I feel like that's a question that as a community we get a lot and we want to try to help people with, but also I feel like everyone has issues trying to balance either like gaming in life, work and gaming, student life, student gaming, just like finding that good middle ground where because it's hard, like you can't be in every single place at once. You can't do everything at once.
Mm.
So I would love to hear how you guys kind of manage like gaming, jobs, school, everything all together and find like a good middle part. And hopefully anyone in the audience who's listening can get some help from this.
Mm.
Self-advocacy is your best friend. Which is also one of the hardest things in the world to do, or at least it is for me. Um, Balance was something that took a long time to kind of get, and I still don't have a good balance either. Um, of course, it's a lot different from my perspective as someone who isn't an athlete. I'm just a worker. So Marcy probably has a different since you used to be or you still are one of the Overwatch members. So it's probably a little bit
Uh,
different, but um for me it's still something that I struggle with, especially because it's my senior year, it's my thesis year. Um but I also work, a job outside of this. I teach. Um and it is, yeah, self-advocacy, knowing your limits. Um if you think you can push through, maybe take a step back because that's not a good healthy mentality. Um I think, and if you're not able to, if you know yourself, like I know myself, I'm not a great self advocate, having someone there to be your support where, I know myself, I know that I'm going to struggle telling my boss or telling someone else like, "Hey, I need extra time on this," or "I need help with something," or, "I need to take a step back to focus on myself." Having someone, especially if they're in the program with you, to help you advocate is your best tool. Um, so I would say if you don't have that, definitely, a trusted friend, a trusted adult, who's able to help you with that is one of the best tools that you can have.
I think that's great advice, especially for those who are kind of here to like either are a college student going into college or wanting to learn more about like collegiate esports. I feel like there's so many resources that are explicitly offered to students or people who live on campus or kind of in those smaller communities. Um, and it's just like the awareness of using like of knowing what's around you and being able to use those different communication points and support outlets. So thank you so much for that advice. I couldn't agree more. Like self advocacy is something that I like. I usually ask this question. I've asked it in the past, like other past coffee talks, and no one actually has brought up self advocacy yet. So I feel like that is a really great point to make. And then Mars, if there's anything else you would like to add.
Yeah, I do agree with having like a support system to help you out with like helping you with like work-life balance um because of course like I mentioned my family who yeah, especially my little brother because bless him since we're both in university together, we're gonna support each other. I know he's been working really hard on a group project at the moment because he is one of the two developers on his team, like one of the two designers I mean on his team. And of course him helping me out with like my anxiety and of course because I like I mentioned I am really affected by my anxiety, but having like my friends and family to support me has helped me out so much.
Mhm.
I love that. That makes me so happy to hear. And I know from our little chat earlier, for context for everyone in chat, I met with these two lovely speakers earlier, and Marzi was saying that your brother lives like right across the hall, which I think is extremely
Yes.
important. And I'm happy that you have such a strong support so close.
Yes.
Hear that.
Yeah, we do help each other out. Well, he helps me out with the socializing and stuff. I'm usually the one who helps him get organized with things because he forgets a lot of things at times.
I love that. You guys help each other so much. That is a true sibling bond right there.
Yeah, I think I could say this as an actual reminder of if I do ever show this to him. Where's your glasses? Why are you wearing them?
That's so real because if you can't tell right now, I have my glasses on. I'm an avid glasses person, but I hate wearing them out in
Yeah,
public. Like only if I'm doing something. But I go around blind 24/7 because I hate contacts. So all of my friends literally say the same thing. They're like, "Where are your glasses? Why aren't you wearing them?" And I'm like, "It's fine. It's blurry. I don't need to see. We're okay."
yeah, but in our family, all of us wear glasses. Although my brother was just the most recent one to be um get glasses. So he's not as used to it as me, my and our parents are.
Oh, he's still trying to figure out the glasses. I love that.
Yeah.
I wish him best. Hopefully he wears them as he should.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, I kind of now that we're kind of on like a little bit of your brother and like backgrounds and like some family stuff, I kind of wanted to go back to origin stories. I know Marzi, you said that both of your the way sorry, Adeline laughed at that, and I thought that was funny. Marzi, you said both of your parents were the ones that kind of influenced you with gaming, and obviously being surrounded by gaming up until now, that kind of allowed you to not allowed, but that helped you get into the gaming space that you are in now.
Yes.
I would kind of love to like hear more about how gaming has shaped you, and if that at all affected where you went to school, why you went to school, like what you did for school, if gaming had any effect. This also goes for you too, Addie. If like what kind of influence gaming had, and then also while you've been in school, kind of surrounded in that collegiate space, how have you seen like just like esports or just gaming in general kind of affect student life, school life, and just your university as a whole, whether that's new programs popping up, new majors, minors, all of that stuff. So it's kind of a loaded question. So you can take it in layers, you can take turns with it.
Mm. Uh, I'll I'll start off. Yeah. So of course, like I said, my parents were very huge gamers. They still are. Um, cause I remember, but cause they said, like, growing up, I was raised on stuff like the PS2, the Sega Mega Drive, because that because those consoles belong to us. And of course, I think the one thing that kickstarted the game that I think kickstarted it all was Sonic Heroes for the PS2.
That makes me happy. Great game.
Yeah, yes, it is amazing. I have a little soft spot for that one. Yeah. Yeah, so growing up I was doing like a lot of gaming, and of course um of course like growing up and also like playing with my little brother as well. Um by the way, despite being the older sibling, I was not player one. It had to always be my little brother.
That is such you're powerful. I don't know what to say. If I was an older sibling, I was the younger sibling, and my brother, he would sometimes give me the remote control that wasn't plugged in, just so like I would be able
Mm.
to do something when I was younger, and that was the kind of like older sibling treatment I got. So you taking the initiative, your brother is lucky.
Yeah. My yeah, and also growing up, of course, Um, like of course, since my parents understood like the whole gaming culture and sphere, I was actually one of those kids who never got the whole pause the online game thing growing up, because even it makes my parents cringe.
I love
They
that.
are
So
big
supportive.
yeah, yeah. And also they made sure that when it came to like playing on the consoles in our living room solo, they made sure we didn't play too long, or and made sure we both got equal turns. And of course, so like also helping maintain that healthy relationship with gaming. And well, as much as it is very fun, I shouldn't let it take over my life, because of course, of course, my course with film and film studies, and actually, some gaming has kind of influenced how I got into film and screen in the first place. Um, of course, and because I'm also a huge fan of film. That's another hobby I have outside of gaming, gaming. And yeah, like finding out behind the scenes of stuff is just really interesting to me. So I think the first behind the scenes thing was actually for Monsters Inc. and how they explained how they animated every single fur on Sully.
They did.
Mhm.
Yes, they did. That is true.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that. That's crazy.
Yeah,
As an
they
animator,
animated. Yeah, they animated every single fur on his body, and I was so impressed. And I think that's also led me into looking into behind the scenes of game development as well. Um, to those who are actually in game development, and any sort of a process, I respect what you do. It seems so difficult. I feel like I would collapse if I tried it.
it is incredible how talented game developers are. I
Yeah.
also am the same way where I wasn't really sure what went into game development, and one of the past coffee talks were actually focused around game developers, and just hearing everything that they've like had to do, the work that goes into the like not even the work, just like the time that it takes. Technology is also constantly like advancing and
Yeah.
evolving, and we got on the talk of GTA 6 because everyone's like, "Where's GTA 6?" And they're like, "Yes, but also keep in mind that when this game came out, technology has gone so far since then, so they have to like go back to stuff that they've done originally and update it with the updated." And I was like, "That is crazy. That's so much." So
Yeah.
I'm happy
The
that
amount of Yeah, the amount of times I've checked in on my brother, and he said I had another boxing match with Maya, because on our campus, Maya is the 3D software that the game design students use.
Okay, thank you for clarifying. I thought Maya was like a student or something, and I was like,
No,
okay, just
no,
box.
no. If he did actually get into a boxing match, he would hear an earful for all of us.
I was
And
like,
last time I
UK
checked,
does it
yeah, and last time I checked, my brother isn't the one who would get into a boxing match unless someone messes with me or our parents, and different story.
That's funny. I never even heard of the Maya software. So thank you for for explaining that. That's very funny.
Of course.
But it's I also love to hear like well not to hear, I'm very happy that seeing how like you've grown up surrounded by gaming and that was able to kind of put you into the like path that you're on now, put you into the school, like kind of focusing centered around that. Because I don't know, at least being in this space, especially with the gamers, a lot of stories that I hear from people who like recently joined our space or just come to like hang out and chat. A lot of the time, it's people like saying, "Oh, I've always loved gaming. I've always been a gamer, but I was scared to break into the industry. I didn't know where to start. Like I just had no support system, and I'm here. Like years later, I still like found this passion, and I'm finally starting to follow my dreams. So I love that was part of the reason why I wanted to bring both of you guys on here as just like the perspective
Mhm.
from being in the student life and just kind of being surrounded by that is just the ability to go in it from a young age and kind of start following your dreams because I think that's important and I really wish a lot of other people were able to get that opportunity. So I
Yeah.
just wanted to thank you guys for like shedding light on this as well. But
Of course.
Adeline, I don't know much of your lore, so I'm excited to see like how you started gaming, where you started gaming, what brought you to here, and also just how much your university has changed since maybe starting or maybe just like teaching. I would love to hear all of that.
Well, I got into gaming also because of my father. Um, it was very much this is we had like many people during the 2008 recession, the first gaming console that kind of went everywhere on the market was the Wii. So we had a Wii
Yes.
and um the first like video game because I never had like kind of my own game until I was much older, like in high school when I bought my first DS. Um, so um, it was like different iterations of Lego Star Wars, Lego Harry Potter, Lego Indiana Jones, um, just games like that. And then my dad, of course, had his own games where it's just like Resident Evil, and that's dad's game, not yours. Um, just because,
Yes.
you don't need tiny little elementary school child trying to play Resident Evil or seeing anything
Yeah.
like that on the screen.
Yeah,
Very
kind of similar. My mum, huge fan of Silent Hill. Yeah, so she was obviously like, yeah, definitely not showing this to the kids.
Yeah,
At least not yet.
exactly. But I didn't really get into gaming until I guess high school. When I started, I downloaded Steam for the first time onto my computer. Being able to buy my own DS and play Pokemon. Um, and I honestly got more into it because of streamers. Um, Back before Twitch got really popular and everything, when everyone was just uploading to YouTube, Markiplier, PewDiePie, Dan TDM, those were the pillar stones. Captain Sparkle was
Yes,
parody.
agreed.
Those were the pillars and the cornerstones of because this is also early YouTube as well, which I feel like
Mhm.
some of my middle school students especially, they don't remember a time before YouTube like we do. Um so these are very much that helped me develop that because I also didn't know there was really a collegiate scene. I didn't know that there was competitive scene even until I started doing more deep dives onto YouTube and seeing, oh, not only are these people creating careers out of gaming, there's this entirely different world that I didn't even know existed, that was out there, you know? It didn't influence me too much when it came to picking out a university. Like I said earlier, I joined the first year of our esports program. So me and my boss came at the same time to Loyola. Um, we, before there wasn't an actual athletics program for esports, it was me and a couple of other people in the student lounge, and someone would bring their Switch over and we would jerry rig it to a TV. And we would just use that and play, Mario Kart and stuff. Or, we're in the Southern United States, fighting games reign supreme. So it's SSBU, it's Tekken, it's Street Fighter. Um, but then all of a sudden, we have this room in the basement, and people can come in and not only play video games, but you can make a career out of it. You can make a future out of it. You can pay for your education with it, which is the biggest thing. Being able to not only, because college is so expensive in the US, um, being able to not only get a good education, but being able to afford it now, or afford it a little bit more than you originally could because of gaming. Um Once again, it's something that I wish existed before I had applied, because maybe I could have gotten some of that scholarship money myself. But I've been able to see it transform my campus in that sense. Of course, again, very young program, we're still building. Um, but with my job, I interact with a lot of campus tours. I'm able to talk up the program. I'm able to talk about scholarships, and I'm able to have these conversations, especially with my students, my young students who are in high school and they're trying to figure out what to do for college. Maybe some of them can't afford it because of one reason or another. This is, because we offer inroads into esports that isn't just competitive gaming. It's also working with social media. It's also broadcasting, which is how I got started in esports, another part of my origin. I was originally a shoutcaster. Before I became the community director, I was a shoutcaster for Overwatch. I was also a shoutcaster for League of Legends and also Super Smash Bros. Um, then I took over the broadcasting department at Loyola, started building that, and then I added community director onto that hat as well. So um it's transformed the campus in that sense, where we've been able to offer a lot more opportunities, especially because we're able to offer work study as well, which is federal money for student workers. So there's just, I think it's made campus a lot more accessible to people. It's created a new community for people who, might not be exactly, they've got social anxiety or one reason or another, they're having trouble making connections. This is a way to do it as well. If you don't want to do it in person, you can do it over a Discord kind of situation. But before esports, I was ready to transfer from my current school. I was just like, I'm not making it, like, school's so hard right now. I'm not making a lot of friends. There's all these different situations. My classes are I'm struggling really hard. And then my really good friend, she was on the Overwatch team, and she was just like, "Do you remember that weird guy who talked in our major meeting like a month or two ago?" And I was just like, "Yeah, join the Discord and see what's going on." I was just like, "All right," and that's how I ended up in esports. But it's definitely, I think, community is something that is also brought as well.
Mm. You made so many good points there, but I'm gonna jump off of your last comment real quick when you said the weird guy that came to talk, because my origin story is also very similar. Esports didn't really exist at my university, and I had a professor that came to talk, and she had a little like Chun Li tiny little doll in the back corner, and then
My
like a
God.
Charmander Hot Funko, and I was like, and she was just like talking about like some random stuff, and I ended up like reaching out to her after. Christina's not watching this right now, but I literally owe everything to her. But I was like, she probably thought I was some insane kid because I literally stalked her for like a week. I was like messaging her, and I'm like, oh, please tell me more, like into this and this, because I was into gaming, but one of my really good friends was into esports, and so that's how I kind of got esports from him, and we kind of combined, I guess, both of our knowledge points together, and then we broke down that one professor, and then we ended up founding the esports program at my university. So actually, no, that's don't stalk your professors. That's not good advice. But I will say,
Yeah.
if you want to like build a program, definitely go after them. Like go
Mhm.
after what you want.
Mhm.
Don't give up. I will say that. But I just thought that was very funny because seeing your boss in the chat and then you being like, yeah, they're kind of weird, but I'm gonna join the Discord, and then now look at where you are and like how far you've
Mhm.
gotten. That is very, very cool. Also, you being a caster beforehand, you have such a stacked resume. You were like rolling off like, yeah, I casted League, I casted a little bit of Overwatch, like no big deal, all of this, and I was like, oh, you're so cool. Okay, okay. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for that insight on just kind of like your viewpoint on the esports program at your university and how much it's changed. Because like maybe you being on the inside, not seeing how much like it's influenced, but on the outside, everything that you're doing, every little thing that your entire program is put together is affecting esports as a whole. Because when I was in school and I ran the collegiate, like a collegiate program for a little bit, we didn't really get access to federal funding at that point. And even now, even new programs that are starting up are having trouble building scholarships. So just seeing that you're able to do that and seeing where your program came, I know that's inspiration from so many other programs or just collegiate students that are watching to kind of give hope, or even high school students that maybe want to get into this in the future. Um, your boss also put in the chat, not only that, Adeline got to go behind the scenes of Dota 2 and
True.
got invited to Valve Studio. You're just
That's
flexing
true.
Oh
on
my
all of it.
gosh. Oh my gosh. My brother, he
The
adores
coolest.
Valve games, so he's gonna so if I told him that, he's gonna freak out.
That's so cool. What the heck? That was like such a drive-by compliment. Like your boss is literally like, "Oh, you think they're cool? Like it's fine. Let me just like show you up real quick."
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I have to ask. What's behind the scenes of Dota 2? Like, what?
Mhm. Yeah, we got
I'm
this
jealous.
I it was me and a few other people from Loyola Esports we got invited out to TI because we didn't know this, but we so in our Discord every semester or so we hold these online kind of exactly like this where we'll invite speakers in from different areas and they'll talk about the gaming industry, and um we had some people from Valve who we were lucky enough that they gave us a little bit of their time to talk to our students about gaming development. We have a gaming development. It's kind of like a minor or like a concentration here at Loyola, but it's not very built. It's still very much. I'm not sure how long it's been around, but I know that they're still, they're still growing it. Um, but there was a Valve member who was a Loyola alumni, and they used to work in film. They transitioned from motion graphics and film over to gaming graphics, and then they joined Valve. And afterwards, they were just like, I had such a great time talking. You guys were so awesome. Not only would we love to work with you guys in the future, what are you doing in October? You know? Um, and we were I was super, super lucky and super, super blessed as well. That the director of the film department, Loyola paid for our airfare to go as a way to olive branch Loyola as well to different people. Um, we got to go to Valve Studios. We got a personal tour to see their headquarters in Seattle. It was it made me realize that not only do I have a future in gaming that I could pursue, but also I have a way to bridge my current major of film into gaming as well, because I wasn't sure if there was really a film scene in gaming. I wasn't sure if I would have to kind of transition it over into something like web development or gaming development or animation. Because those aren't my strong suits. Computers aren't my strong suits, ironically enough. But I got there and I was like, no, there's writing and there's directing and there's all these other facets of film that I hadn't even thought about. So it was an amazing opportunity that Valve gave us. They gave us passes as well. We got a tour of TI. We got to walk the stage of TI as well while they were where they compete and everything. They've got those like glass domes where the players are. Um, it was it was so surreal. And I know that, oh my goodness, one of my closest friends was also with us on this trip. And while we were watching, he was just so overwhelmed because he wants to create video games. He wants to be a developer. And when we were in the lounge area watching one of the last matches of the day, I just kind of look over to him and he's just silently crying. He's just so overwhelmed and just so amazed by everything around him. And I was just like, this is it. This is why we do it. This is why I do it. Because it was such a cool moment, not only to share with a friend of mine, but to be able to be like, if I had just like I could have just ignored, my buddy 2 years ago and I would have never had this happen. I would have never had these opportunities. I would have never been able to go to Valve. I would have never been able to go to TI, and have entry passes and all these other things and be able to get merch. It's amazing how much I've been able to experience, but also how much um I've been able to bring to people within the program as well, that they've been able to experience it too.
Thank you so much for sharing. Honestly, it's amazing in itself that you're able to kind of have those experiences that many probably won't, like, don't get the chance to. But to me, I admire you so much more for being able to pass on those experience to those who are around you and kind of share that growth. And because a lot of people don't get cool opportunities, and the fact that you're willing to kind of open that up and uplift others is just admirable, and it says a lot about your character. um, but also, on a side note, that just sounds like such a freaking cool
It was
experience, and I'm very happy you got to see that. Like, just listening to you talk and continue going on about that, I was like, wow, that is a once in a lifetime, like, being flown out, just going, like, truly behind the scenes and seeing all of this, and then building those connections on top of it and seeing, like, oh my gosh, I found a connecting point between my love of film and my love of gaming. This is where it comes together.
Mhm.
Truly, like, I'm extremely happy for you, and I'm really happy that you got this experience because that is phenomenal. And I love hearing people's stories. Like, I feel like it's the most random lore drops. Like, we wouldn't even have this brought up if it wasn't for your boss just like driving by, being like, "Oh yeah, they're so cool. Look at this. Look at what they did." And now, like, I'm hearing all of this, and I'm like, "Wow, I would have never known this. Never heard that story." So, shout out to
Mhm.
the Lulu Meister for dropping that
Yeah.
little tidbit. That was cool. I also know that
Um,
we're coming up on time, so I wanted to, like, give you guys a chance to, if there's any sort of, like, finishing remarks or anything that you guys wanted to touch on, or any sort of promo. Like, you have this entire platform. We have people here in Discord, we have people over on Twitch watching us, we also have people over on our platform watching us. So you guys have the eyes on you to kind of give any remarks, any sort of, like, space. I'm gonna give the floor both to you. Have at it.
yeah, I was gonna touch upon the
And
whole.
audience.
Oh,
Sorry. No, 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 you're okay. I was like, if the
okay.
audience has any other questions now.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, of course. Sorry about that.
No, 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 that was me.
Yeah, you mentioned about like connecting like gaming and film. I feel like I've also done that throughout like my first year of this course because it's my first year of actually. I just got into the course last year though, I did a foundation year for my course. So it helped me get a lot better settled in. But um, but when it comes to the whole thing of my course, it's with film, it's more about analyzing it and going into like the more like the messaging and detail that goes into it rather than actually, doing it itself. Because technically my course, film screen studies, and the film production course, which is actually one of the biggest courses in our university, are two halves of the same coin. Even though in my class personally, there's only 5 students, including me, so very small class. Um,
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. 5 students?
yeah, including me. So
Oh my gosh,
technically
wow.
for me, but I mean, and it's a good that it's a more quiet environment because um I'm gonna mention this. I'm on the autism spectrum as well, so loud. Yes, yes.
Solidarity.
Um, yes, and
Solidarity.
yeah, and loud noises are my biggest issue. So having a quieter classroom does help me out. Although the whirring in the classroom still affects me. Luckily I could just wear my headphones and have that be it about it. Back to the whole thing about relating film and game. Um, like I said, ours is more analyzing the film, like the messaging and like detail that goes into games and the films and stuff. Um, and I've realized looking at the games I play as well, I've realized I started looking at them through that perspective. Like with like finding like similar like narrative structures or like any film techniques used in like video game cutscenes.
Sorry. Tig also just put in the chat that they're standing in solidarity because they're also on the spectrum and they suggested that
Oh,
you all take over the world together. I fully support it. I'm here to watch you guys take over the world.
yeah. Um, I will say I can also mention this. I've uh since coming to university, I've been talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people I know who come here are on the spectrum, so or at least are neurodivergent in some way. So that's good. That's a good thing to know.
I love that.
Yeah,
Everyone is welcome here.
Mhm.
Say it.
yeah. Um, of course, again, like seeing that cinematic side to games as well has helped me see how much games can have an artistic impact on as much as film and television can do, because those are the main focuses. But but outside of but in my own time looking at that, looking for the game side, it's always really interesting.
No, that is really interesting.
Mhm.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, so thank you.
Mhm.
If there's anything else you wanted to add.
Yeah, shout out to I'll shameless self plug to anyone who's watching on any platform. Go and follow at Loino Esports. I'll put it in the chat as well. At Loino Esports on Twitch. Come watch my amazing casters. Well, sadly the season's over, but we still have streams and stuff. Um, Come watch my amazing casters, come support Loyola, learn a little bit more about us, or join our Discord as well. It's also Loyno Esports. Loyno Esports. No dash, because there's no dash in esports. I gotta make sure that I say that my boss has it in his little email signature, how to properly spell esports. Um
I
yeah.
love it.
Make sure that uh I think that my closing remarks or whatever, besides my shameless self plug, um, if you're going to be in a collegiate esports space, it is one of the most rewarding things that I think you can do. I think it's also one of the toughest things that you can do. You're going to meet people. I have found, we are hiring, yes. I have found my people through this program. I have found my family. Um, I have made bonds and connections that I never thought was possible. But you like I was talking about earlier in the stream, you also encounter a lot of hardship. And especially as someone who's queer, especially as someone who is femme presenting and trans,
Mhm.
and then also just, I obviously wear a head covering, it's if you're intimidated to join the space, I don't blame you because I was as well. But I think the second that you do, you're not only creating a new safe zone for yourself, you're allowing someone else who's just as nervous as you to join to step forward and join with you. Um, I think that's also one of the biggest things that I've seen within my own college program as well. Um, we used to be not a lot of femme presenting people, not a lot of women in the program. But my boss was a woman. Our lead administrator is femme as well, and so is one of our other coordinators. Since the program has started, I've watched the shift of like femme to male ratio completely shift to more. I've been so overjoyed to watch more women join esports. And not to, take a little credit or anything, but I think it's, if you see someone who looks like you in a space that you want to join, it makes you want to join too. So sometimes, as scary as it can be, because it was terrifying for me as well, and it still is at times, um, sometimes you need to be the person who joins first so that you show that maybe it is maybe to show that it is in fact a safe space, you test the waters first, or if you want to make it a better place like we're doing right now, it's showing, hey, if I'm standing here, you can stand with me and more people are going to join. So that's my little closing remark. Be nice to people, be kind to people, uh you know, be allow if just treat others the way you want to be treated, kind of thing. But yeah.
Beautifully said. And thank you both of you for just coming on and talking. And to those of you listening, I hope you were able to kind of either just learn something new or just truly be amazed at the progress that esports and gaming in general has made, and both of these wonderful speakers, what they have done with their life and what they continue to do. And I'm so excited to see.
Oh,
Hopefully, if as you guys stay in this space, I would love to stay in contact and just see what you guys do and what the future holds.
of
We also got some
course.
interest from people over on Twitch saying that or your boss said that you guys take graduates. So for those of you listening, I know some people were interested in joining an esports space in college. So I'm just putting this out there for any of you guys listening. It's not too late to go back. It's not too late to go back to school. Like esports is constantly evolving. If you want to get into gaming, like there's always chances for you to do so. Um, oh, Pink Brit said, I do wish I'm pretty rooted in Colorado. I can send some gamers your way, maybe as they age out of our program. And then your boss said,
Please.
or the Lulu Meister said, I'll take your entire stock, which I think is very funny.
Yeah, feel free to, I'm always online. I think we all are at this point. So if anyone,
Yeah.
again, Beige Hamster on Discord, if you ever want to chat, if you ever have questions about collegiate esports, or if you ever have questions about my own program here at Loyola down in New Orleans, feel free to ask. I love to yap,
We're all big
Yep.
yappers here. I love
Yes,
it.
we are.
Well, thank you again, both of you, so much. This has been such a fun chat. I mean, just hearing everything that you guys had to say, I've thoroughly enjoyed this. And thank you to so much for those of you guys who watched, who contributed with any
Yeah, thank you
questions.
very much.
I think something in the chat. It's loading. It's not opening. Oh my gosh, they said, hit me up when you get the chance. We have a lot to talk about. Look at that. I know, people making
Yeah.
connections. Oh my gosh. And the Lulu Meister, who's the is he a coach at
He's our head
Loyola
coach. Yeah,
or
he's the head
program
coach.
coaching? Okay. The Lulu Meister also put in Twitch chat that their Discord is the Lulu Meister, one word. So if you ever wanted to contact any of these wonderful people, please feel free. And thank you guys again so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week. A wonderful, wonderful weekend because it's Thursday. That means it's almost Friday, which means it's almost the weekend. So
Yeah.
thank you guys and you watching. I hope you enjoyed Collegiate Coffee Talk. This is so much fun. We run events
Yeah.
every single day in our platform. Tomorrow we are doing a Free Play Friday co-playing session. So we're just going to be hanging out in Discord, just chatting, having fun, and just everyone's playing their own game. One of my coworkers, Kwan, just got Animal Crossing, so I'm going to be on Animal Crossing, showing her my island,
Oh
switching,
boy.
doing some little tidbits, giving her some bells so Tom Nook doesn't yell at her. But if you guys, you can, it's a co-playing session, so feel free to bring whatever game you guys want to play and just hang out in Discord if you want to chat. So thank you
I think you
all, and
summoned. Yeah, I think you summoned my mother with Animal Crossing.
yay! Oh, Tig's gonna be
She.
playing Cult of the Lamb. I love it.
Yeah.
We have
Oh,
Animal
Cult of the Lamb is
Crossing and
amazing.
Cult of the Lamb.
Yeah. My
Cult of the
mum
Lamb.
has more hours on Animal Crossing than I do. She's the expert.
I love that so much. I would love to play with her. Well,
Yeah. Her
thank you
island is
guys so
amazing. Sorry, sorry, praising my mama. She is watching this. Hi, mum. Sorry if I'm embarrassing you.
No, it's okay. It's not embarrassing. Join us for Free Play Friday tomorrow. I would love to play Animal Crossing with you. Otherwise, thank you again so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy. And
Oh,
thank you. And if you guys have any questions, I'm also always online. So feel free to anyone watching, feel free to reach out to me at any point in time. So thank you guys. Enjoy. Bye.
of course. Thank you.
If I can figure out how to stop this